What does one think about when waiting in the desert for 19 years? Can one even think about the future when surrounded by such desolate views? Only death and decay seem to lie in the dunes. Is it more likely that one looks into the past then, to better days and fonder memories, back when one had much more youth, purpose, and excitement, less aches and pains in the bones and muscles? I imagine when Kenobi spent his 2 decades in exile on Tatooine, he meditated quite a lot on his past. I'm also sure he was periodically interrupted by Maul screaming his name telekinetically through the Force. Unfortunately for Maul, all that screaming would have to wait because he was really just a small part of Obi Wan Kenobi's very interesting and rich life. A life full of important lessons he would need to recall if he's going to be able to survive the upcoming trials here on Tatooine. The boy Luke continues to grow in both strength and curiosity. Soon Disney, the Empire, will come for him, and old Ben must be ready.
Hello there friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Alan. On Tatooine, Obi Wan Kenobi faces his greatest challenge yet.
Babysitting over the future of the Jedi and potentially the galaxy, Luke Skywalker. Luckily, there's very few better suited for the task than him. Today we'll be looking at some important lessons Kenobi picked up during the Clone Wars, which will aid him on his mission. Whether it's Kanan Jarrus or Cal Kestis, one of the easiest ways to let people know that you're a Jedi post-Order 66 was not by using the Force. This could actually be hidden to a certain extent. It was actually by using your lightsaber. This was a glowing beacon which in better times convinced criminals and enemies of the Republic to give up. This was a giant flag that the Jedi carried into the battle that screamed, "Look at me." But now it was just a liability. On Tatooine, Kenobi will have to learn how to use much more low-key weapons like a gaffy stick, for instance. During the end of the Clone Wars, Obi Wan Kenobi learned something very important during his final battle with General Grievous, a gigantic cyborg that he fought with on numerous occasions throughout the war. Up until the last battle, Kenobi had never been able to best the cyborg.
And perhaps that's because he held this belief that the lightsaber was the only suitable weapon for a Jedi.
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
The thing is, when Obi Wan Kenobi's life was on the line, the only thing he had in reach was a blaster, and he would use it to do gruesome things to General Grievous's heart.
Cue advertisement for heartburn medication.
The Clone Wars might have been a more civilized age, but now that he's here on Tatooine, every battle will be a struggle, especially without his lightsaber and using the Force. Kenobi will have to learn how to use every weapon at his disposal to survive. This includes using a blaster.
Which is probably a good idea because if you take a look at Obi Wan Kenobi's lightsaber duels, he oftentimes loses grip of his lightsaber, like he did when he was fighting with Darth Maul on Naboo, and also during his duel with Dooku on Geonosis. And he actually had to rebuild his lightsaber twice from scratch, and that's because he didn't have today's sponsor, Ownasaber.com, which is where I got this amazing replica of his first and second lightsaber. And I didn't even have to go to the Kyber Caves of Ilum to face my inner demons, which I imagine will manifest in an aquatic form. Anyway, Ownasaber.com is giving away 4 lightsabers in May. On May 12th, at an unknown time, they'll be releasing 4 100% off discounts on their YouTube channel and Instagram. They'll be giving away 2 Dueling Sabers and 2 premium Xenopixel lightsabers. If you guys want to check out how to win, look at the description below and subscribe to their YouTube and Instagram. And then on May 12th, at a random time, they will release 2 codes on each one of those channels. Also, all of their Xenopixel premium blades, like this Kenobi replica, the First Dawn, will be available for 30% off. Thank you for your patience. On to the rest of the video. Ah, no!
In 28 BBY, a plot to abduct and kill Chancellor Palpatine was uncovered by the Jedi Order. Moralo Evil, a criminal mastermind working for Count Dooku, was in charge of the plot and in the process of recruiting the most dangerous bounty hunters in the galaxy to complete the mission. The Jedi wanted Obi Wan Kenobi to go deep undercover as one of those bounty hunters to find out more information about the plot and potentially stop it. In order for the plan to work, the Jedi hired famed underworld hitman and marksman Reiko Hardeen to kill Obi Wan Kenobi. Unbeknownst to everyone, including Hardeen and even Anakin and Ahsoka, Obi Wan Kenobi was wearing body armor when he was shot, and he also took a vital blocker to appear dead afterwards. While everyone thought he was dead, Obi Wan Kenobi would be secretly taken by the Jedi Order and would undergo a very painful facial reconstruction process and also change his voice in order to take on the identity of Rako Hardeen. But in order to truly convince Moralo Eval and the other goons working with him that he was Rako Hardeen, Obi-Wan Kenobi had to act like a criminal, but at the same time, he had to be careful not to completely give up all of his values as a Jedi. Obi-Wan Kenobi manages to do a good job hiding the fact that he is a Jedi from these criminals. For instance, when escaping from a Republic prison with Cad Bane and Valo Morale, Cad Bane is unable to bypass a security checkpoint. Obi-Wan Kenobi manages to convince the two other criminals to be his lookouts while he rewires the entire system. Instead of doing that though, he just waited for them to turn around and use the Force to open up the door. While in exile, Obi-Wan Kenobi would have to sparingly use the Force, and when he did use the Force, he had to make it look as natural as possible. Obi-Wan almost slips up though while escaping the Republic prison. He has the opportunity to kill a guard, but he hesitates, which allows the clone to hit an alarm. Cad Bane would shoot him anyway, so it didn't really matter if Obi-Wan shot him or not, and his cover is almost blown by this mistake. Luckily, Obi-Wan Kenobi had an excuse.
My blaster jammed.
Risky move, but sometimes personal values come before the mission. I always knew I liked Obi-Wan for a reason.
Things get even crazier when Palpatine lets slip to Anakin where the three fugitives are. Anakin, who is fuming over Rako Hardeen's murder of his best friend and master, joins the chase, further complicating the situation even more. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi must keep Valo Morale and himself alive and at the same time, not kill his former apprentice. Learning to juggle so many deceptions at the same time while fighting to the death is not usually something a Jedi will have to learn.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is really lucky he has this experience. It will surely help him stay undercover while on Tatooine,
where he'll be trying to protect the Skywalker family from the local thugs employed by Jabba the Hutt. When one lives their entire life like a knight in shining armor coming to the rescue of the downtrodden,
it's an incredibly empowering feeling that is reinforced by society's gratitude and also one's own internal moral compass.
It's good to be a hero, but while on Tatooine, even if Kenobi is careful with how he approaches each situation, sometimes the best action is no action.
Especially when he's trying to not attract any attention to himself or to the people he's protecting.
While walking through the corrupt streets of Mos Espa, one of the biggest struggles that Kenobi faced was watching criminals freely abuse the local populace and not being able to do anything about it. But he was able to hold himself quite well because long ago, during the Clone Wars, he learned a very important lesson on how to be helpless. During the Clone Wars, an entire Togruta colony disappears from the world of Kyros. Kenobi, Skywalker, Rex, and Ahsoka are sent to investigate the matter. They follow some leads and find out that the Togrutans were taken to the world of Zygeria, where the Zygerian Empire still operated a lucrative slave trade on the edges of Republic space. While there, their mission is botched and Obi-Wan Kenobi is captured and enslaved by the Zygerians. He's sent to the world of Kadavo for slave processing. It's there where he meets the cruel warden Argus, a Zygerian who specializes in breaking the spirits of living beings and making them docile and easy to control. Breaking a Jedi wasn't easy, however, but Argus soon found Kenobi's biggest weakness. The Jedi was not affected by beatings and other direct threats to his physical well-being, but Argus realized he could control Obi-Wan by threatening to kill or beat the other slaves.
Beg me before this one dies because of you.
Please, forgive me, Master.
This would be one of the toughest periods of the war for Obi-Wan Kenobi. While in captivity, he was completely helpless and humbled.
But he did learn an important lesson that an attachment to another person, even when that mentality is righteous, can really strip him of his freedoms when his enemy knows his weakness, and this prevents him from fulfilling his ultimate goal.
While on Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi will have to make similar difficult decisions. They might seem harsh to you and me, but Kenobi must keep his eyes on the prize if he's to be successful with keeping Luke alive. Meow.
Other than the Inquisitors, who we'll do a separate video about later on, the Sand People and Jabba the Hutt are going to be the main antagonists that are going to threaten Luke's homestead while Obi-Wan Kenobi is looking over him. Obi Wan Kenobi did meet Jabba the Hutt early on in the Clone Wars. The Republic was looking to gain access to Hutt space to reinforce and resupply their garrisons trapped in the Outer Rim. Obi Wan Kenobi was sent to negotiate with Jabba the Hutt. Someone had kidnapped Jabba's son Rhoda the Huttlet, and Anakin and Ahsoka Tano were chasing down some leads. Obi Wan Kenobi will have gained some insight on how Jabba the Hutt's criminal operation works and what motivates this giant Hutt crime lord. Also probably better understand what he smells like, which of course will all be very important when he's dealing with Jabba's water tax collecting thugs on Tatooine. Obi Wan Kenobi also traveled to Nal Hutta and dealt directly with the Hutt Council while trying to recapture Zero the Hutt. Now, I wouldn't count Obi Wan Kenobi as an expert on Hutt crime family operations, but at least he knows the fundamentals and has had several different encounters to draw experience from. So as you can see, Obi Wan Kenobi has lived a very colorful life, and he's learned a lot during the Clone Wars, especially because he's a pretty humble and wise individual, and so he'll have learned a lot of lessons from his many crazy experiences, which makes him the perfect guardian for Luke on Tatooine. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below for more Kenobi coverage. My name is Alan, reminding you that my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy.